Hi guys, Stephen with Myers Paranormal here. Today I'm going to make a quick video. We did Christmas Day. We did a at-home session at my father's house. You know, just walking around and just seeing if there was any kind of activity there. And as you know, we posted that video and we caught some things. And I told my dad, I said, you was too busy to notice, but we did a video, and he was like, well, did you catch something? He was really interested, so he asked me today, would I mind doing another one? So we did it privately, because we actually did one inside the house, and I wanted to make this video and kind of go over what we caught. We thought you guys would enjoy this. So the very first response we got, which I'm gonna screenshot this and I'll put it in the video where you can pause it and you can just go through the list. We did this from 9:26 and we wrapped it up at 10:25, so it was an hour. We didn't really ask any questions, we just let the box run. And the very first thing it said was, as soon as I hit the button and let it start going, laid it down on the table, bam. First response is, I'm from the 1700s. And I asked him, you know, I'm like, Dad, how old is this place? Like, how long somebody lived here? And he said, in 1781, somebody actually settled that place. And it's had 2 or 3 families since. He's the third person to have a house there. So that, it checked out. And he said, well, let me ask you this. How did you know that? And I said, I didn't know that. I had no idea. And I said, any responses that's coming from this is from them. I said, because I didn't know any of the history of this house. And he's like, well, that's correct. The second response was attachment, which that's probably telling us that there was an attachment on that property from previous families. And then he asked, he said, when you did the session the last time, did you get a name for the child? And I said, yes. And I couldn't remember what it was. Well, at that same moment it said Alma, and I think that was the name we got last time. So I'm not sure if that was her name or if it was just the name, but it's Alma. And then we got another response after that was, thank you for listening. Another name of Arthur. Someone is watching, and it said Eric, and then River, like pretty close together. And I told Dad, I said, Eric is actually from a previous investigation that we did at the old Antioch Church Cemetery. He is the one who watches over the cemetery. So, and it's close to a river, so that's what those two were from. And he always told me, he said, I feel like there's some kind of presence here that's not necessarily a good one. So at that moment he said that, it said leave, and then challenge and predict. And he's like, well, I don't know, that's a little scary. And then it said, don't be afraid, and then holy, pretty close together. And then the name Ernest came through. And then I'm like, well, see, I said, there's something here watching over you. You know, my mother passed 4 years ago, and her ashes are there. So that, you know, that could be her. And then it said, careful, Leo, and then Jesus, was the next three responses that it came across. And then it said, I can protect you, gaining more energy. And then it said, I know, Clark, badly. And then I'm like, well, I said, how much longer do we want to do this? Because we had been in probably 20 minutes at that point. Each on here, the Spirit app puts a timestamp and what was said. And it, right as I said that, it said, don't leave. And then it said, her voice, settlement, nasty, and then it said in heaven. And the nasty was probably something to do with that bad entity that he felt. And it said recording, because I was using the Spirit app. And then it said there are two of us, we can help. There's two of us who can help me. And I said, who needs help? And it said little, and I was thinking, little girl. And it said, would you help me? And I said, well, can you tell me your name and who you are? And I'm pretty sure it was the little girl, and her name was Patty. And it says, I know I'm dead. And then, little boy around you. And the little boy around you, there's a story that my dad only found out when he turns 50. And he's 65 now. So my grandmother, when she was young, had a set of twins that they never made it to childbirth. And it was a little boy and a little girl. And I think the little boy may be following Dad. That could be the little girl as well. I'm not sure on that. But it said, why are you here? And that's, as I say, I always do, we're here to speak to you guys, give you a voice, give you a chance to speak. And I stood up because my daughter was outside playing, and I wanted to check on her. And it said, standing beside you. We are watching you all. And it said, yes, that's right. Chair. And it said, it's lonely here. And my dad, he totally knows what that's like. Ever since my mom died, he's lonely. So he understood that one. And then it said, locked. The name Julie. I'm right next to you. Anyone. We fight the darkness. And I guess that gave my dad a little bit of comfort in knowing that there's somebody there helping watch over him. And he told me a story that just blew my mind. He asked me, he said, well, can you tell me how many spirits here? And I was thinking it said 3. And he said, well, that's mighty funny. Because, my mother died in the hospital and Dad came home. And he said that night, he woke up and said that he had 3 ladies standing over him that was poking him and pinching him and wanting him to do this and wanting him to do that. And he said something to the effect, leave me alone in the name of Jesus. And he called my mother's name and they disappeared. They left him alone. And then it says true, channel, stones, my bones, and history are the next responses. And who knows, there could be somebody buried on the property. We don't know. It's an old property. And it says permission, face, avoid this area, Gertrude, of course. And then it says sacrifice, darkness, blue eyes, blonde hair, curse, and the last one was obvious. And Dad has blue eyes and I have the blonde hair, so those two are explained. Curse, like, you never know. From what I've heard, there was a house right where his is now. The person, he tied a rope around his neck and jumped off of a tree. And then somebody bought the house and moved it down the way, probably a quarter mile on another property, which that house still exists to this day. So that, I don't know if maybe the man, when he hung himself, he cursed the place, or I don't know. And the darkness, I mean, like he said, he felt like there was a dark entity there. But, of course, when we finished the session, we said the Lord's Prayer, and then we opened the door and invited anything that wanted out, anything that needed to go to the light, to go ahead and go to the light. And then we also put salt on the four corners of his house, which should help purify it as well. And after we did that, you know, he's putting the salt away and sitting inside talking. In the tree out in front, I heard crows, and I thought, well, that's unusual. And then I heard something growl, and I told Dad, I said, whatever was in here is not in here anymore. It's on the outside wanting in. And all of a sudden, just as fast as the growling started and the crows came, they disappeared and they left. And I don't know, Dad seemed to be happy with that, so we plan on going back, and this time he agreed to let us film it. So we're going to see if we can actually film a video in there. We're going to go do an in-home session. We'll go room to room with a K2 meter, and which on the device, it has a K2 meter built in. It actually went off a couple of times. So we'll go to each room with a K2 meter. We'll use the Spirit Talker app. We'll also use the Necrophonic app, and we'll see if we can get you guys some information and video content up as well. So you guys can be looking for that. I just wanted to come on here and kind of share that with you guys, and I thought you'd be interested. And like I said, I'm going to upload, take the screenshot of what was said in the timestamps and put it in the video where you can pause the video and read through it yourself. And you guys at home can get in the comments and tell me what you think. We want your opinion on what you guys think is going on here. So thank you guys for watching, and we will film you guys a video another day.